So I love telling stories, and I was reminiscing about just different crazy stuff that's happened to me over my life. And I came upon one that I think I will title Jehovah Jireh and the Slot Machine. This is a true story. It really did happen to me back in the 80s. In the mid 80s, I was stationed at Simbach Air Base, and my car had tore up, and it used pretty much every penny I had, or nearly every penny I had. I had 75 cents basically to my name. And I had a telephone bill that was due the next day. It was like $27 and some odd cents. And I had to pay it or they were going to disconnect my telephone. And if you had your telephone disconnected, it cost quite a bit to have it reconnected. So I went to lunch at the NCO club because I could charge my lunch there. I didn't have money to eat, so I could charge my lunch at the NCO club. And after eating there, as I was walking out, I passed the slot machine room. And the Lord stopped me and said, "Go in and take your 3 quarters and put them in a machine I will show you." So I walked in the slot machine room, and the Lord led me over to the last aisle, down to the second to the last slot machine on the right. And he said, "This is the machine." So I put my 3 quarters in, and I pulled the handle, and I got 3 bars, and 100 quarters fell out. So I was just ecstatic. I shoveled that into I was wearing my field jacket, shoveled that money into my field jacket pocket, and turned around to leave, and there was a guy standing behind me, just sort of like with this look on his face, shaking his head. He couldn't believe what he had just seen. And so I started to leave, and he said, "Well, it's customary to clear the machine." And I didn't know anything about slot machines, so I said, "Is there a reset button?" And he said, "No. If you leave it with the 3 bars on there, no one will play this machine because they'll know it just paid out. So it's custom to put a quarter in and pull the handle just to get it off the bars." And I thought, well, that's fine. So I put a quarter in it and reached for the handle, and the Lord whispered, "No, put 3 quarters in it." So I put 2 more quarters in it and pulled the handles. And on the 3rd quarter, I got 3 oranges and won 12 more quarters. And I shoveled them in my pocket and walked up to the bank to pay my phone bill singing Jehovah Jireh, because I had basically just a few pennies more than what I needed to pay my phone bill. So I thought that was the Lord's provision. Well, the story doesn't end there. A few years later, I was at a new base up in Wiesbaden, Lindsay Air Station, and I was eating lunch in the NCO club. I could actually afford lunch this time. And I was sitting there eating, and I looked down the hallway, and I saw they had a slot machine room there too. And it made me remember what happened at Simbach. And I said, "Lord, was that really you? Did that really happen? Or what was that? Was that really you?" And he whispered, "Go put a nickel in a machine I'll show you." So I walked down to the slot room and took a nickel and said, "Which machine, Lord?" And he led me to one that was right there near the front door, put my nickel in it, pulled the handle, and got 3 bars and won 100 nickels. And he said, "Yes, it was me." So I don't know, I just sort of think the Lord can provide in ways that are sort of outside the box and most people wouldn't even think of doing, but I do. So that's my pondering and musing for the day. Thanks for watching.